The night they came for my home was the night I realized peace is something you fight for, not something you're given. My name's Tom Ballard, a retired Marine, 6 feet 3 inches, 250 pounds, built like a brick wall from years of carrying packs through deserts and jungles. I'd spent 20 years in the Corps, seen things that still haunt my dreams, and came home to Rosewood, a quiet slice of Oregon, to build a life with my wife, Lily. Our single-story farmhouse sat on 3 acres, a stubborn patch of open land surrounded by a tidy subdivision with its manicured lawns and HOA rulebooks. The year was 2023, and all I wanted was a quiet life, polishing my 1972 Camaroa project I'd started with my old man before he passed, and watching Lily hum in the kitchen, her baking filling the house with warmth. But peace, it turns out, is a fragile thing, and it only takes one person to shatter it. It started on a crisp October Saturday, the sky a deep, endless blue. I was in the garage, rag in hand, buffing the Camaro's chrome to a mirror shine. Lily was inside, probably whipping up her famous cinnamon rolls. The world felt right. Then I heard the rumble of a diesel engine and the hiss of air brakes. I stepped outside, wiping my hands, my red flannel shirt tied across my shoulders. A tow truck, its yellow lights flashing like a predator's eyes, was backing into my driveway. The driver, a burly guy with a neck like a tree trunk and a faded tank top, hopped out, not even glancing my way as he fiddled with the lift controls. "Hey, can I help you?" I asked, keeping my tone even, though something cold stirred in my gut. "Got a call to pick up the car," he grunted, jerking a thumb at my Camaro. "HOA violation." I raised an eyebrow. "Violation? It's in my driveway. My property." He held up a crumpled paper. "New rule. Article 8, Section B, Paragraph 2. No vehicle over 15 years old in public view." Eyesore. Public view? My own damn driveway. I almost laughed, but the name behind this hit me like a punch. Margaret Pierce, the HOA president. A woman who seemed to thrive on making everyone else's life miserable. This wasn't about a rule. This was personal. The Camaro was my heart, my history, and Margaret knew it. She was flexing her power, showing me who ran this corner of Rosewood. I stepped closer, hands loose at my sides. "There's been a mistake. You're not taking my car." He puffed out his chest, trying to play tough. "I got orders. Take it up with the HOA." He reached for the chains. "Big mistake." I moved fast, stepping between him and the Camaro, planting my feet like I was holding a line in Fallujah. I didn't touch him. Didn't need to. I just stood there, a wall of muscle and will, staring him down. His bravado cracked. Sweat beaded on his forehead, not from the sun. "Look, man, I don't want trouble," he stammered. "Then get back in your truck and leave," I said, my voice low, dangerous. His radio crackled. A sharp female voice cut through Margaret. "What's the delay? Is the vehicle secured?" He fumbled for the radio. Problem, ma'am. Owner's uncooperative." Uncooperative. Her voice was ice. "Tell him the sheriff's 10 minutes out." Lily stepped onto the porch, a tray of cookies in her hands, worry creasing her face. "Tom, what's going on?" "Just a little HOA nonsense, sweetheart," I said, forcing a smile. "Go back inside." She hesitated, then nodded, trusting me. That trust lit a fire in me. Margaret was playing a game, using the system to bully us. I wasn't going to let her win. I pulled out my phone and called an old Marine buddy, now a county official. 1 minute later, the tow driver's radio crackled again, this time with his boss's panicked voice. "Abort. Get out of there." The driver scrambled back to his truck, tires crunching gravel as he fled. Round 1 was mine, but I knew this was just the opening shot in a war I hadn't asked for. Our farmhouse was more than a house. It was a promise. I met Lily a year after I left the Corps, a broken man carrying ghosts from battles I'd rather forget. I was working security at a Portland ER when I saw her on nurse, calm as a still lake, talking down a strung-out guy waving a broken bottle. Her courage hooked me. 6 months later, we were married. She didn't fix me with therapy or pills. She did it with love, with quiet moments that made the ghosts fade. We bought the farmhouse because it felt safely, a big yard for the dog we'd get, an oak perfect for a swing. Every nail I hammered, every rose Lily planted, was a brick in the life we were building. Margaret Pierce wasn't just threatening my car. She was threatening that life. And I'd be damned if I let her take it. At first, the neighborhood had been warm, neighbors waved. Weekends smelled of barbecues. Then Margaret took over the HOA like a dictator seizing a small country. Her husband, Edward, was a quiet shadow, always trailing her. The vibe shifted. Friendly warnings became fines. Newsletters turned into lists of bylaws nobody remembered voting for. She went after the Wilsons for a basketball hoop an inch too tall, the Martinezes for a too vibrant shade of yellow on their house. Lily and I kept our heads down, thinking compliance would keep us safe. We were wrong. After the tow truck, Margaret's attacks became a siege. Letters arrived on crisp HOA stationery. $20 for grass half an inch too long, $15 for a noisy wind chime, $30 for our welcome mats, non-approved color. It wasn't the money, it was the feeling of being watched, judged, trapped. Lily would garden, and Margaret's car would crawl by, her eyes scanning every petal. I'd wash the Camaro and feel her stare from her window across the street. Our peace was gone, replaced by a gnawing dread. Our neighbor, Walt, a retired mechanic with a wild imagination and a terrier named Admiral, tried to help. "Tom, she's using sonic weapons on your roses," he whispered one evening, waving a homemade gadget. "They're wilting." I humored him, was loyal, and loyalty was rare. But Margaret's next move wasn't petty fines. It was a dagger. Lily came home one day, pale, clutching a letter from the state nursing board. An anonymous complaint claimed she was stealing meds, treating patients while impaired. Lies, vicious and calculated, aimed at her career, her soul. I knew who sent it. Margaret had crossed a line, targeting my wife, my heart. The soldier in me woke up, cold and focused. This was war. I hired a lawyer, MS. Carter, sharp as a blade. "This is harassment meant to bleed you dry," she said. "We'll fight it, but it'll cost time and money." I didn't care about the cost. I cared about Lily. While MS. Carter built a defense, I went on the offensive. I started a file Operation Nightingale, named for Lily's calling. I dug into public records. Margaret's house was bought in cash, well above market, and HOA funds were funneled to shady accounts. I watched her routines: grocery runs on Mondays, dry cleaners on Tuesdays, and mysterious hour-long trips to a bland office park on Thursdays. Then there was the black van, no plates, driven by a guy with a scorpion tattoo on his neck. One day, I saw Margaret hand him an envelope. This wasn't just HOA tyranny. It was something darker. I installed a top-tier security system, checked the perimeter nightly, and cleaned my old service pistol, not to use it, but to steady my nerves. Lily caught me one night in the garage. "This is getting worse, isn't it?" she asked, her voice soft but steady. "Yes," I said. "What are you going to do?" "Whatever it takes." She touched my shoulder. "Don't become the monster you're fighting, Tom." Her words burned. I wasn't fighting for revenge. I was fighting for us. The war escalated. The HOA sent a notice of a massive special assessment for a new gate and security patrol, thousands per household, with a rule allowing liens on homes if owners were under felony investigation, twisting Lily's complaint into a weapon. Margaret was trying to take our home. I needed to get inside her world, her house, her head. I planned to break in during her Thursday office trip, but I needed a distraction. Enter Walt. I brought him one of Lily's pies and a request. "I need you to keep Margaret busy next Thursday." His eyes gleamed. "A black op?" "Admiral's ready." His plan was insane: let Admiral loose in Margaret's prized tulip garden with paws dipped in washable blue paint. It was perfect chaos. Thursday came. I hid in bushes across from her house, tools ready, phone off. At 8:10, Margaret's sedan pulled out. Walt's voice crackled over my radio. "The terriers in the tulips." I saw Admiral, a blue-pawed tornado, trashing her garden. Margaret's car screeched to a stop. Her face was fury itself. But then her phone rang. She answered, and her anger turned to fear. She sped off, not to the office park, but toward the highway. My plan was shot, but my gut screamed this was bigger. I followed her, keeping my distance. She drove an hour to a rural nursing home, Willow Grove Care Center. She met a doctor outside, her gestures frantic. I waited, then approached the desk inside, playing dumb. "I'm looking for Margaret Pierce." "Visiting a friend." The nurse smiled sadly. "Mrs. Pierce was here for her husband, Edward. He's been here 5 years, advanced dementia." My blood froze. "Edward?" I'd seen him that morning at their house. If the real Edward was here, who was the man living with Margaret? This wasn't just harassment. It was a lie built on lies. Back home, I told Lily everything. She made tea, her calm anchoring me. She's using a fake husband to control his money, she said, and funding her war against us. I had a choice: go to the police or use this to blackmail her. Lily's eyes held me accountable. We're not like her, I said. We'll win this in the open. I sent a bouquet to Willow Grove for Edward Pierce, get well soon. A subtle jab to let Margaret know I was onto her. 2 nights later, at 2 a.m., the response came: a battering ram splintering our door. The alarm screamed. I told Lily to lock the bedroom and call 911. Grabbing a heavy lamp, I moved silently downstairs. The hallway lights blazed, blinding the intruders. 2 men spilled in, one with a scorpion tattoo. I swung the lamp, dropping the first with a blow to his shoulder and a knee to his gut. The second lunged. I ducked his punch, broke his nose with my palm, and slammed him into the wall. A third hesitated at the door. I hooked his ankle with a crowbar, knocking him out cold. I hog-tied them with duct tape as sirens wailed. Lily was safe, her 911 call perfect. Police swarmed the scene. Margaret stood across the street, shouting, "How dare you fight back?" I leaned close to the scorpion-tattooed thug. "Tell Margaret she sent you to the wrong house. Next time, nobody walks out." The police were impressed. 3 intruders, no serious injuries. Detective Larson, a sharp major crimes cop, knew this wasn't random. "Got any enemies?" he asked. I told him about Margaret, the fines, the tow truck, planting a seed without revealing Edward yet. Then Walt showed up, Admiral under his arm, waving a crumpled article from a Montana paper. It was about a soldier, Private Daniel Pierce, killed in Iraq under my command in 2013. His mother, Margaret, was quoted, grieving. The name hit me like a grenade. Daniel was in my unit, a brave kid who died in a botched mission I'd questioned. I wrote his mother, told her he was a hero, but never the full truth that I blamed myself for his death. Margaret hadn't moved here by chance. She'd hunted me, built a fake life to destroy mine, recreating the chaos of that day in Iraq. The fake Edward, the HOA power, the hired thug sit was all for revenge. The HOA meeting was my battlefield. I identified the fake Edward as Greg Larson, a washed-up actor with debts. I rallied neighbors, stoking anger over the assessment. The meeting was packed, the air electric. Margaret sat at the front, Greg beside her, nervous. She pitched the assessment, but the crowd turned hostile. I stood, tossing down the police report and mugshots. "Margaret hired these men to break into my home," I said. "Ask Greg. Did she use your debts to make you play her husband?" Greg crumbled, trembling. Margaret's grip tightened, but her control was gone. Then I softened my voice. "This isn't about money, is it, Margaret? It's about Iraq. It's about Daniel." I pulled out a faded photo of Daniel, grinning, his arm around me. He was a good kid. I was his CO. That mission was a mistake, and I've carried it every day. I set the photo before her. "He gave me this to give you if he didn't make it. I'm sorry I kept it." Margaret's mask shattered. She sobbed, a decade of grief spilling out. The crowd watched, stunned, as her war ended not in defeat, but in truth. A week later, Margaret was gone, her house empty. The HOA dissolved its rules, the assessment scrapped. Neighbors rebuilt, hoops went up, houses got brighter. Walt promoted Admiral to Admiral Supreme. Lily and I reclaimed our peace, but it was hard-won. I faced my ghosts, and Margaret faced hers. Sometimes, victory isn't about destroying your enemy, it's about understanding their pain. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have fought Margaret with her own dirty tactics, or taken the harder path like I did? How far would you go to protect your home, your family? And what about Margaret? Was her revenge justified, or was she too consumed by grief to see reason? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story gripped you, and subscribe for more tales that dig into the messy truths of life.